Welcome to a special monthly edition of Spirit Journey Collective, where we step away from interviews and dive deep into the collective energies of the upcoming month. For those who do not know, I am an intuitive tarot reader and spiritual channel. This episode will be focused on exploring the energies of the month ahead, such as themes, both good and challenging areas to be mindful of, as well as a channeled higher self message overall. As this is a collective reading, it is important to always remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. It is my belief that if you are tuning in today, it is because there is some form of guidance and wisdom waiting for you. But it doesn't mean the entire reading will resonate, although it may. My name is Sarah Ty, and I am your host, reader, and channeler for the upcoming reading ahead. And without further ado, let's dive in.
Happy August, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for another monthly collective reading. This is for the month of August. So, as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So, whether the whole thing resonates or just pieces of it, likely there is something here for you. So, I'm going to go over a theme for the month of August. I'm going to go over what's working for us. I'm going to go over a challenged area just to be mindful of for the month of August, as well as a higher self message. So one thing I could tell you about this reading is if you are going through or you feel like you're about to step into a transformative place in your life where you know that you're letting go of some things and you're moving towards a newer version of yourself, which comes with a lot of healing and releasing and all the things, then this message is likely going to hit home for you. If you're not quite on a transformative journey, but maybe you've been feeling the pull, which I can speak to because that has been definitely me very recently. If you feel that pull, then this message very well will land for you as well. So we're going to start with the theme, which is the Hierophant. This one is one of my favorite cards. I know I have a lot of favorites because it's really hard to just pick one, but the Hierophant is one of my favorites because the way that I read the Hierophant, it's more about you connecting with your own inner wisdom and breaking out of traditions and breaking out of conditioning and all of the ideas that society has put onto us. So when we were children in society, in our own family structures, all of that, in our cultures, we were given beliefs. These were just how we thought we were supposed to show up in the world. So we all had it. Not one of us was immune to that sort of thing. And so the Hierophant is inviting you to look at all the ideas and belief systems that were handed to us when we were children and really ask yourself if those beliefs still resonate. So, for instance, a lot of Americans have this belief of by the time you leave high school, you should go to college, you should graduate, you should fall in love, get married, have 2 kids, a white picket fence by the time you're 30. You know, that's really vague, but I think a lot of us were ingrained with this particular idea, especially millennials and Gen X. Like we definitely were ingrained with this is what you do once you become 18 and move into adulthood. You know, but as we grow up and find ourselves, a lot of us realize that these ideas that we're given don't resonate. They don't feel right to us. They aren't meant for us to fit. It's a box that we're being told to fit into that doesn't feel good anymore. So the Hierophant first invites you to look at all of the beliefs and the conditioning that we were given as children and then decide which one is ours, which ones resonate that we want to keep carrying and which ones we want to let go. So if you have a family member or family members or friends who tell you you should be doing XYZ and it just doesn't feel right to you, you know that there's something else you're supposed to be doing. It's learning how to basically say, thank you for your perspective. Thank you for what you believe I should be doing, but I know it's something different I'm supposed to be doing. And it's learning how to self-govern and learning how to have self-sovereignty and being able to discern what's for you and what's not for you and letting go of what's not for you. And it's a huge process. It sounds simpler in this way, but usually what happens is you find yourself doing what lights you up, what feels good to you. And what happens is you might get pushback from other people saying, "What are you doing? We don't do that. You're supposed to be doing XYZ and you're over here doing ABC." And that's okay. And it's learning how to accept that you have your own inner compass, you have your own inner guidance. It's likely going to steer you in a direction that isn't what you were brought up to believe you should be doing. And that's okay, because now you're getting closer to your authenticity and you're getting closer to who you are at your core and getting closer to what lights you up and your purpose and all the things. So the theme of August is finding yourself, but finding yourself specifically in the beliefs that were handed to you, and deconditioning those ideas and finding more you and less what society is telling you that you should be and you should be doing. And so that's more about introspection and, again, belief systems. What beliefs did you pick up from a childhood? So I'm bringing up things like, oh, a house with my white picket fence by 30, but it could also be this belief of, oh, I can't do my dream because I was told that I'm not good enough, or I was told that's not a sufficient career, or I have to do this job that I hate because that's what I was taught by watching my parents. They went to the 9 to 5, they hated their job, and now they're retired, and I have to do that too. It's also just the beliefs that we either were given and told or that we witnessed. And now again, questioning whether or not we want to stay in that box or whether or not we want to break out and create our own shape. And that's really ultimately what the theme is about, is finding your own shape. So that's our theme, which I absolutely love. What's working for us as something to be mindful of moving into August, which I love this too. It's the 8 of Wands. This is saying that right now you have a lot of forward moving energy that's going to back you up on this deconditioning journey that you're on right now. And it's the you want to ride the energetic wave. I like to describe the 8 of Wands as an energetic wave. It's like when you're a surfer and you're out waiting for a good wave to ride, right? It's when you get that big wave that's coming. It's a little scary because it's big and it's fast. And you have 2 choices. You could either go, "Oh, I don't want to get on that wave. That's too big or too scary for me." And you can just sidestep it. Or you decide to get on and see where it takes you. And that's the invitation for August. You're being invited to get on that wave and seeing where it takes you. And a lot of what that says is the time is now. Take advantage of the energy. I know that with August, especially, we have the Lion's Gate coming up, the Lion Gate portal. And so there's a lot of energy happening. So the time is now, is really what it's saying. Jump on the energetic wave. So especially if you're being called into deconditioning work and you're being called into self-reflection and figuring out who you are, the time is now. And you can wait, you can miss this wave. It's not going to stop you from this journey by any means, but it might be a longer journey than if you were to take advantage of this fast forward motion that's happening for you. And so that's something to be mindful of, that yes, get on the wave. Yes, this is the time. The time is now. So a challenged area for the month of August is the Knight of Wands reversed, which makes so much sense. The Knight of Wands upright speaks to saying, you found yourself, you found your authenticity, you found the thing that lights you up, that makes you stand out, that makes you different, and you're embodying it, and you're living life to the beat of your own drum. Now, society teaches us the opposite. Society says, don't stand out, blend in, be like everyone else. You don't want to be the one that everyone's looking at that's different. And, if you look at our history, back in the day, if you chose to be different, that could be life or death. And in today's world, it's not life or death by any means. And so we actually have the freedom to be more authentic, to do what we love. And so when the Knight of Wands comes up reverse, it's just saying that you already know what lights you up. You know what brings you joy. You know that there's a passion you want to go after. And likely the biggest thing stopping you from going after that passion is learning how to decondition these belief systems that were given to us that told you that you couldn't do it for whatever reason. And so you're afraid. You're dimming your light. You're choosing to blend in versus stand out. And so whenever the Knight of Wands comes up, I always want to encourage you to embody what makes you different, embody what makes you stand out. Yes, you might lose some people by doing so. And really, and perspective, they're doing you a favor if that's the case. Because what's going to happen is the more you shine your natural light, the more you are you and you do what you love, you do what lights you up, you're going to attract your tribe. You're going to attract people who want to be around you, who are attracted to who you are at your core at an authentic level. And so, what's the challenged area in August is this fear of standing out, this fear of stepping out of your belief systems that it was given to you and choosing instead to listen to your own self sovereignty and listen to what feels good to you and what's calling to you and being afraid to really embody that. So, I would absolutely say this is definitely the time to do that deconditioning work. And if you find yourself being drawn to something that you know makes you different, that you know makes you stand out, that you're terrified of the world knowing that it's what you love, you're being invited into saying yes to it instead of pushing it away. Because pushing it away is going to mean that you're stepping back into those old belief systems that are holding you back. And you're not jumping on the energetic wave and taking advantage of that fast forward moving motion now. And then finally, I have the justice reverse as your higher self message. And then the clarifier card I pulled for the justice is the Seven of Wands. So, the justice card, I really feel like a lot of this is speaking to the work of the Hierophant because usually justice comes with feelings of unfairness, of a sense of injustice. Oh, this should never have happened. So, especially if you're doing Hierophant work and you're getting backlash or people pushing up against you, changing your beliefs or changing your life course or doing things that other people in your societal or family structure are like, what are you doing? Stop doing that. And you're doing it anyway because you know it's the right thing for you. You might get that backlash, which also might very well cause you to start feeling this sense of injustice and unfairness. And the Seven of Wands speaks to triggers. It speaks to being triggered from old wounds and old traumas coming up. Maybe this is something that you wanted to do when you were a child and it was snuffed out. And so now you're feeling the sense of injustice that now that you're old enough to make your own decision and you want to go for it, it's still being snuffed out or there's still an attempt to snuff it out. And so with the Seven of Wands, the invitation is always to check in with yourself when you're being triggered because sometimes the person that's triggering you, it's not what they're doing directly and you don't, you might react to the point where you overstep and you go off on them for something that happened to you in your childhood when they're literally not related. This person is just pushing a button that's an old trigger for you. Or it could be that you have to set some serious boundaries, but you wouldn't know which is happening because it could be a combination of both unless you check in with yourself. So the Seven of Wands encourages you to respond versus react. And if you find yourself getting triggered, how can you step away and check in like, oh, okay, whoa, I'm getting super triggered right now. What is going on? Where is this coming from? Get curious. And when you're able to do that, then you could come back to the situation and better handle it. Like, okay, do I need to set a boundary with this person? Or am I about to unleash a bunch of old trauma that really has nothing to do with them? They're just pushing a button that makes me realize I have to go back and heal some things. So, with that right next to the Justice card reversed, I feel like higher self is it's just acknowledging that, yes, when you decondition and you peel back those old layers and those old beliefs that were handed to you that you're now realizing just don't feel good to you anymore and they're not you, you're probably going to get some backlash. And you might even, it would not surprise me if there were beliefs that are handed to you that you carried for years and years and years that you're now looking at going, oh my God, I can't believe that I carried that and believed it for as long as I did. Thinking of like bigotry or racism, that's something that can be deeply in like our roots without even realizing that our mentality is coming from that space, for example. So there could be a sense of injustice, like I can't believe I was made to believe these horrible things for so long. The other invitation of the Justice card is learning how to accept the situation for what it is. Look at what wronged you. Look at the situation as a whole that you feel unfair or sense of injustice and accept it. Because it's one of those things where it is what it is. You can't go back and change it. It can't be undone. And once you realize that, then you have a choice. You could choose to stew in it and get stuck there, which means there's no movement forward. You're just sitting there feeling this anger and frustration and unfairness. or you could choose to do something about it. You could choose what you're going to do next, how you're going to move forward from this. And that is always the invitation of justice. So I feel like the overall message for August is it's a time for self-reflection. It's a time to peel back layers and deconditional beliefs that no longer serve you, and then figuring out what does serve you and tapping more into your self-sovereignty and your self-governing. Really taking advantage of the energy in the air right now, because there's a lot of fast forward, creative moving motion that higher self is like, get on the wave. You don't have to, you have free will, but if you do, it's going to get you where you want to be faster. And in this whole thing, while you're deconditioning and while you're finding yourself, you're going to likely, if you haven't already, find the thing that lights you up, find the thing that makes you different and stand out. And you might be afraid to really embody it and say yes to it. And higher self is like, no, embody it. Yes, say yes to it. It's okay to live life to the beat of your own drum. It's okay to stand out in that scary way where everyone looks at you and they're like, oh my God, what are you doing? Blend in like everyone else. But you're like, no, this is me. This is my authenticity. And you can love me and support me, or you could choose not to. Either way, I am living by my own authentic code. I am being myself. And I'm going after the thing that makes me happy and brings me joy and lights me up. And I'm doing what I love. I'm surrounding myself by people that love me for who I am. So you likely will feel this resistance to fully be yourself. And higher self is like, use this self-reflection that the Hierophant's going to give you to really say yes to you and yes to what you love. And then again, understand that shadow side that I was just speaking to of the justice, that likely this work, the Hierophant work, deconditioning and getting rid of old belief systems, it comes with a lot of feelings of unfairness and injustice and a lot of old triggers and wounds that need to be handled. And that's okay. Be gentle with yourself, but also don't let yourself get stuck in that anger and that sense of injustice, because you'll get nowhere. That's the example between the swamp and the stream. The swamp is slowly dying because there's no movement. The stream is always moving, and you want to be the stream. The stream is full of life. The stream is full of direction. And so don't get stuck in that feeling of unfairness. Accept it for what it is, and then find out how you can move forward in a healthy, productive way. So there's a lot going on this August. I feel like there's a lot of creative energy, a lot of deep diving and finding yourself and finding out who you are, and a lot of and some shadow work coming up too. But that shadow work is just going to help propel you closer to your authentic self. So I hope that this resonates. I hope that you're able to take something from this day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in September. Thank you so much again for joining me on Spirit Journey Collective.
Are you in the need of guidance around love, career, family, life, or purpose? Embark on a spiritual journey inward with an intuitive tarot reading. Depending on what you're needing and looking for, I offer private one-on-one sessions as well as personalized email readings. It doesn't matter what the question is. A reading with me provides connection with your higher self, offering curated personal messages, or what I like to refer to as spiritual roadmaps, guiding you to the future outcome you desire. Readings are insightful and affordable. If you'd like more information or to schedule a reading with me, please see the link below. Thank you for joining me on another inspiring episode. Remember, your purpose is a unique and unfolding path. I hope these conversations have ignited a spark within you. Until next time, keep exploring, growing, and embracing the beautiful adventure of connecting with your purpose. Stay tuned for more meaningful conversations. If you enjoyed the episode today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for joining me on this journey.